How's it going, YouTube? I'm here with my 2021 Kia K5. This is the 1.6 turbo, the EX model. It is a gas direct injected, and it's coming up on almost 2 months old now. I've had it for about a month and a half. It's the EX, if I haven't said that already, with the panoramic sunroof. The heated, ventilated seats with the leather material, and the 18-inch wheels, Pirelli tires wrapped on those. Getting inside here, you can see the gauge cluster. My door is open. We'll close that up. Very solid door. And I am at 994 miles currently, about to turn 1,000 miles. Has the 8-inch display with Apple CarPlay. It has wireless Apple CarPlay, and it also has Android Auto.
As if he needed to.
There. Has automatic climate control, dual zone, and the heated and ventilated seats. And it's the ventilated seats. It also has a wireless car charger for your phone. And there is another shot of that panoramic sunroof into the back seat. Has this very nice simulated wood on the dash here. Automatic driver and passenger windows for up and down. This particular model does not have the automatic folding mirrors. There's some more of the wood that follows along the dash onto the door here. The roof is a different tone. It has like a tan or beige colored roof, maybe even a gray, which is pretty standard on a lot of newer cars. My previous Nissan Altima that I had was also this way as well. This is a neat touch. You don't actually have to click anything for the light. You just tap it and it comes on. And they are LED. It has the UVO link as well. Another thing that I think is quite nice is this little window right here. I just think it's a nice touch that they separated that. Has some pretty nice sized mirrors. It also has blind spot notification, rear cross traffic for when you're backing up. Has lane keep and lane departure assist, which is really nice. It's weird to get used to it first, as when you're driving, you will find the car correcting. With the lane departure, it will give you an audible tone, which whenever you're about to leave your lane, and will actually pull you back into the lane. With lane keep, it is used for highway driving and such. Pardon if I'm wrong on this on the two, but they are slightly different but very similar. That is when, by pressing this button right here on the steering wheel, I believe it's above 40 or 45 miles per hour and you're on the highway, the car will help cut down on fatigue on long drives by keeping you centered in the lane. So it basically will steer itself, is the term that I would use. The car kind of has a mind of its own. It does have several different drive modes. Currently I'm in Smart. I like Smart because it will give you the best fuel economy when you're just leisurely driving. But when you get on it, it will kick it into Sport mode and will give you the more performance out of the car. Now, like I said, this is a 1.6 liter 4-cylinder turbo. It is gas direct injected. You may think, it's a mid-sized sedan, that's a little small for this car. That was my main concern when I was looking at this car. Like I said, I'm coming from a 2012 Nissan Altima with the 2.5 in it, with the CVT transmission. And let me tell you, the 1.6 is a different world. The Nissan Altima had about 170, 175 horsepower in that year. This car puts out about 180. You notice all the horsepower. Without the CVT gum banding, that gum band effect, this car just gets up, shifts, and goes. It's very nice to drive. Handles very well with the nice wide, or 235 profile tires. They give you a nice grip to the road. It has automatic headlights as well, something also to mention. Right there. Now this doesn't have rain sensing or anything like that, but it does have the delayed wipers. A nice little touch that they put on this is there's actually, the knob is on the back and on the front for the wipers for the delay timing. Nice little touch. It is push button start. So it's a very nice car. I really like the vent designs. Now, in the month that I've had this car, the biggest thing I will tell anybody that is looking at one of these cars and test driving one of them is expect change, but in a good way. Initially, this car, during the first 100 miles, honestly up to the first 300 miles, tends to be a lot more jerky. The shifts are a lot harder. They're more pronounced. And it is very on again, off again. You touch that gas pedal, it is very sensitive. Now, it could be you get used to driving it as well, but the more I've driven it, the smoother the shifts have gotten, and the smoother the acceleration is. Now, with the different drive modes, like I was talking before, there's a knob down here you can change, and it tells you up here and up here which mode you're in. Now it's in custom. It just really, we'll go to settings on the custom. All it gives you the option to do is change what the powertrain's going to operate and how you want the steering. So basically you just make the steering a little lighter with the custom. Sport mode, this car will rev all day and take off. It turns into a little bit of a rocket ship. So that 1.6 is not something to be afraid of. If you are afraid that that's a small engine and it's not going to be able to pull this car, that is something to not worry about. So at the moment, I love the car. It's a great car. I highly, highly recommend. It also comes with that 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty through Hyundai. So it's a nice peace of mind when it comes to buying a new car. But I guess the only thing we can do is get out and drive it and give you a little bit of driving footage, and I'm going to try to record it turning over the 100 mile or the 1,000 miles. All right, let's get moving. All right, let's go ahead and take it for a drive. Now you might see me pull my phone out if we get close to that 1,000 miles, because it's the easiest way I can find to record it. Now something else, this car does have the automatic electric parking brake. It's down here near the seat controls. We can show it again, but I did show it in the previous point when I was going over the heated seats. The nice thing about this is when you set it with your foot on the brake, it automatically releases. So when you put it into drive or reverse, it will release the parking brake automatically, which is pretty nice. It makes it very convenient. It's hard to get used to initially, the fact that you don't have to release it and you don't have to set it on the floor. I had the Altima for almost 5 years, and I had gotten pretty used to manually setting and releasing the parking brake. So we're just going to go for a little drive here. This car also has the tap turn signal option, where if you don't fully turn the turn signal lever, you just slightly push up or down on it, it will flash, and you can set different times. I believe it's 3, 5, and 7 flashes when you tap it for lane changes. When you do that, it also disables the lane keep and the lane departure, so it doesn't fight you when you have the turn signal on. That's also something to think about if you're relying on that when you're driving it. You don't if you're looking over your shoulder or trying to change lanes, it's not going to keep you in your lane. I'm assuming that's pretty standard because you wouldn't want it fighting you. It has the digital display readout with analog gauges. Now, I heard a lot of people commenting on these on the initial reviews that they're disappointed in the gauge cluster. I personally enjoy the analog gauges. Honestly, I don't look at them much with the digital readout. But what I will say is, if you look in the owner's manual, it actually shows full digital clusters. There's, I believe, 3 different options. There's like a semi-digital and then a full digital. So those are to come, I'm assuming, later on here, maybe in November. I think I heard the rumor is that the GT's coming out. Because currently they only have the LX, the LXS, the GT line, and then the EX out. But they're going to be bringing out a GT version of this car. The nice thing about the GT version is it's going to have the 2.5 liter turbocharged gas direct injected engine. That engine's going to put out, I believe it was 280 horses, which would be quite nice. And there's also going to be an all-wheel drive version as well. Now, when you get the base model, which starts out at about 24,000, 25,000, they are pretty based out. You still get the 8-inch display with the wireless Apple CarPlay. That's standard on these cars. But you do lose out on the leather, the heated seats, the ventilated seats. You get a smaller 16-inch wheel, which doesn't look bad, but in my opinion, the tire size they chose does look a little bulgy and a little bubbly. They just don't look as sporty as these 18s do. Overall, driving the car, it handles quite well. It hugs the corners with those wide tires. It cruises at nice speeds. I did take it on about an hour drive there and back so far on the highway, and it did wonderful. I had 4 people in the car. I'm a bigger guy. That being said, you know, with the extra weight, this car, you hardly could tell. The only area that you could really feel the weight was honestly in the steering and the handling of the car. It felt more planted and heavier in the steering, but in acceleration, it really didn't skip a beat with that extra weight in the car, which was quite surprising. I expected it to labor a lot more. My Altima with that 2.5, it struggled with all those people in the car. Overall, I mean, it's a very smooth car. Highly recommend it. Also in the base model cars, like I was saying, the base model cars, you actually have a key ignition in those cars. They don't have push to start, which is kind of a bummer. I feel like at this day and age in 2020, it's been something that's pretty much standardized. It's something that everybody has, all the car makers have. They should have that in all cars at this point. The convenience factor is the biggest part of it all. This guy wants to ride up my trunk lid now after he tried to pull out in front of me. Anyways, so yeah. As you can hear, it's pretty quiet. Road noise is pretty minimal. Now with these low profile tires, I will say you're going to feel a little bit more of the bumps, but honestly I like that. With the electric power assist steering, a lot of cars I've found are numb feeling with that electric power assist. They feel like you're driving an arcade game. This car, you still feel a lot of the road and the feel of the car, which I like, and I think that has a lot to do with the low profile tires as well. So right now we're just kind of driving through a small little town here. This is Export, Pennsylvania here. Something of interest, take off here, it gets up and goes, is the building that's off here to the side, right here. This is actually, from my research, the former export Oldsmobile, Watson Oldsmobile and Chevrolet, I believe, dealer, which is actually where my 1983 Oldsmobile that I have on this channel was originally sold. Now, I don't know the details behind the building and what's original and where they would have kept the cars, but that is what this building is, which is quite neat. I found this out through some research. That's where the dealership was. Now, this car does have LED projection headlights. Does not have fog lights, but does have the headlights. They are quite nice. They get quite bright, which is also another one of those things I would feel at this day and age that LEDs should be standard, in my opinion. I haven't seen too many videos of people, of actual owners of these cars yet. I was actually the second person to buy a car from that dealership. I honestly don't know if it makes a difference, but it did come from Jim Shorkey Kia on Route 30. And to be, I believe it's North Huntington, Pennsylvania. That was the second car they sold off their lot. The first being a GT line in the Wolf Gray, which is actually the car that I initially saw that drew my attention to the K5. The K5 is a direct replacement for the Optima, as it is the actual name that they called the car in Korea. It's always been the K5, it wasn't the Optima. But I will say they really stepped up their game. While the Optima is a nice car, I just feel that the styling is just so much more sleek. The interior is more comfortable, way better design, material feel. Now, some of the early review testers they said they heard squeaking from here. I actually don't have that problem on this car. What I have found is there's actually a technical service bulletin for that. So if you do have that problem, you should be able to take it into your Kia dealer and they should be able to resolve it for you. I don't know if there'd be a fee, but they have a service bulletin on it. As I gained access to, I did the 72-hour trial of the access to their bulletin system, just to look up some facts and information for the car as far as like maintenance and how to go about like flushing transmissions, things like that, because I do most of my own maintenance, and I wanted to know what all was involved in that. So it's a very cool, calm, collected car when you want it to be, and it gets rowdy when you don't want it to be. It'll take off when you least expect it, and that's just something you got to get used to, honestly, with the car. With the turbo, it is that it's very responsive from the start all the way through the power band. There's no real lag that I've found with this turbo. I wanted to say it's a twin scroll turbo. I'm trying to remember the name for it. So it has the power down low and up high, which is very nice. It calls for regular unleaded. That's honestly what I've been putting in the car. But yeah, in conclusion, I hope you really enjoyed the video. Gives you a little bit more insight coming from an owner of the car as to what to expect, and some more details on the car and my personal experience with the car so far. I highly recommend it to anybody looking for a nice mid-size sedan. Quite roomy in the back seat as well. I'm 5'10", with the 5'10" to 5'11". Depending on the seat position, which is what it's in my comfortable position right now, which is not all the way back. See, it's warning me I'm crossing the white line there. With the seat not all the way quite back, it gives you a fair amount of leg room in the back, and headroom's not bad either. Actually a lot roomier than my Nissan Altima was. It does have the vents in the back and 2 USB ports, along with 2 USB ports down in the center stack, the center console here. Which you really don't need much of with the wireless car charging and the wireless Apple CarPlay. But yeah, I'd highly recommend the car. If you have any questions, any comments, open to hear them. Hope that helps somebody out there, and please give this a thumbs up if you like the video. I'm gonna see if I can make some more videos coming up shortly on the car. Yeah, subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you. Have a good day.